Okay, so I told myself a while ago that I wanted to do weekly videos. So here's my first one. The topic is one that I think it's a word we can say now, COVID. Uh, and it's part one of two, actually. It's all about how COVID was good for me. Um, not that long ago, nobody really wanted to hear that word anymore. I think we're getting to the point where it's enough in the past that we can actually say it now without causing too much PTSD. So I thought since I'm going to start doing this weekly video that I might as well give you guys a clue about what kind of prompted me to go down this coaching path. How it all started. It actually started with COVID. So this is video number one entitled How COVID Was Good for Me, part one. And I think it's important to talk about in a coaching framework because two of the disciplines that I've been studying and learning about are perspective, which is reframing things, and it's all about how you look at it, and also acceptance. So instead of resisting and suffering, just accepting what is or what was and letting it go. So where my coaching journey began is when COVID began, and when it was, first truly getting started, when it first started to show itself, and nobody really knew what was going to happen or how long it was going to last or how long the shutdown would last. In those early days of days and weeks of April 2020. I know we don't really like to think about it too much, but I truly thought the shutdown meant like 2 weeks. And of course, we didn't have the benefit of hindsight at that point, like we do now. But you know, even pondering a 2 week shutdown of my business was pretty unsettling for me, and I think that was for a lot of people, even at that point. So many of you know that I've been in the direct selling industry for about close to 25 years now, so a really long time. And at that time, when COVID first started, I had been repping for a winery for about 11 and a half years. And my business thrived on doing in-home presentations. Well, that put me into a bit of a panic knowing that I wouldn't be able to do that for a few weeks. So it was really going to hurt my momentum. And we were used to the income my business provided. My husband has a great job, thank God. So I knew we would be okay, but it would kind of hit us pretty hard to lose what I was contributing financially to our household. So as it became apparent that COVID wasn't going to go away anytime soon, I had to, another word we don't like to hear a lot, I had to pivot. So who got sick of that word? I think we can start to say that again. And figure out a way to move forward. And thankfully, our company did come up with some interesting and different ways that we could still do our sales presentations virtually, which was trickier than I thought it would be, because our product was something people wanted to experience firsthand, and I couldn't just tell them about it on a video. So we figured out how to do that, but then I had to wrap my brain around doing my business this way for who knows how long. Right. And again, at the beginning, I thought it was going to be a couple of weeks. And I hadn't done very many videos for my business up until that point. I barely knew how to run a Zoom. So, and certainly not an entire presentation with audience participation. So I just had no idea how to do it and didn't feel comfortable with it at all. Even once I was given a format on how to do it. But I had to. I really didn't have a choice. I had to press on. I had to press through and make it work. I had that fork in the road. Either I had to figure this out and gather up my courage, or my business was going to really suffer and it was going to come to a screeching halt, basically. And that was just not an option for us. So I pressed on. I figured it out. I learned how to do virtual presentations, and I did a lot of them. 2020 and 2021 were two of my highest personally selling years with this company. Now, the same could not be said for many on my team, unfortunately. So some of those folks, a lot of them actually, they let that headwind from COVID stop them in their tracks. They were just not willing to learn a new way of doing things, and they decided to wait it out. I'll just wait until this blows over. And as we all found out, of course, waiting it out was like a year and a half. And most people were, before most people were comfortable getting together again, very much. So don't get me wrong, I did have all kinds of customers who never skipped a beat. They were hosting in person, even in the thick of the pandemic, and those are my people. not letting fear or intimidation stop them. I loved those people. But a lot didn't feel that way. A lot of people didn't feel that way, at least not the whole time. So I had to figure out a way to do this, and I did. And my personal business thrived because of it. I got pretty good at the videos, following up with people afterwards, reaching out to my longtime customers in different ways, and just forging ahead. So I grew and I changed. It was the highest selling time in my personal business ever, at least personally. So I did lose a substantial amount of my team during that just, they were just paralyzed by fear and the unknown. But I had that growth mindset, and COVID was good for me. It forced me to grow, or I should say, it gave me the choice, and I chose growth. So that's part one of how COVID was good for me. Stay tuned for the next one, part two, and that talks a little bit more about how all this nudged me into, sent me in this direction that made me land on this coaching business. So thanks for watching.